Ryan and I bought our boat Polar Seal, a Beneteau Oceanis 40 from 2007 for 78,000 British pounds, which in 2016, when the transaction occurred, equated roughly $90,000 and included the VAT. Since then, we have been sailing the world and documenting our adventures on this channel, and by far, one of the most popular subgenre of YouTube videos in the sailing space is how much does it cost to sail around the world. If you are a creator in that niche and looking at growing your channel, this is the topic that you would be reaching for. And my guess is that since you are currently watching me talk about it, you've probably seen some of them as well. Because maybe you have a dream to sail the world on your boat one day, and you want to explore how much money you need to save to get there. Which is why I want to tell you today, those videos are wrong. At least most of them, and for the most part, it's obviously much more nuanced than that. So in this video, we'll discuss what it looks like to sail on a budget in 2024. Now, to be clear, I do not consider buying a $100,000 boat as being on a budget. So I want to introduce you to two friends of ours who I consider to be the most thriving and money-savvy sailors that we've met. And then we'll discuss why I think the "how much does it cost to sail the world" videos are wrong, including the ones I made back in the day. But before we dive in, I want to thank the sponsor of this video and Ryan's absolute favorite brands of shoe, Vessi.
Vessi shoes are slip-on, slip-off, super comfortable, and 100% waterproof.
For the last 6 years, we have been living on board Polar Seal, and it's a really small space in which I do not have the space for a lot of different shoes. Which is why I love my Vessis. They are versatile, super comfy, and they go with everything I wear. Recently, I was on a sailing expedition around the Chesapeake Bay to study the presence of microplastic in our water, and my Vessi weekend sneakers followed with me. Because they are so easy to take on and off and fully waterproof, they were great to have on board. But they are also a really cute pair of sneakers that I wore when I went out for dinner in town with the crew. I also took with me my Vessi gloves, which I love because they come a little bit longer than normal gloves on the forearm. They are absolutely waterproof and they still allow me to operate the touchscreen of my camera. Now, if only my camera was also waterproof. So if you want to get your own pair of waterproof, cute and comfy Vessis, go to vessi.com/RyanandSophie and use the code RyanSophie for 15% off your pair. So thank you so much again to Vessi for sponsoring this video. We hope you enjoy them just as much as we do. And now, back to our episode. 7 years ago, our friends Bo and Brandy, who you can find on YouTube as well, bought Saoirse, a 35-foot person from 1971. It was January of 2016, and for just $2,000 and a massive amount of determination, their adventure gets started. With no experience of sailing or boat work, they undertook the renovation of Saoirse, which took them 1.5 years before they were finally able to leave the dock for the first time in November of 2018 from St. Augustine in Florida. In that time, they turned Saoirse into an electric boat, meaning that, among others, they had to redo the entire electric system. The deck of their boat was also coming apart, and there was some shock damage. They also replaced the rigging, installed toilets, electronics, and all the small details that would make Saoirse habitable. Since they left the dock in 2018, they have been sailing more than 10,000 nautical miles over the course of 6 years, from Florida to the Bahamas, the Windward Islands, Jamaica and Central America, all the way up to Rhode Island on the east coast of the United States. This is where we met them again this year, in Block Island, as we were sailing back from Nova Scotia. And I asked them to give me a tour of their boat, which, in spite of all the time we had spent together cruising, I had never visited.
There we go. Boom! Welcome aboard our very humble abode.
Oh, hi, Barnacle. Fancy seeing you here.
The 3 Bs on Saoirse, Barnacle, Bo, and Brandy.
So I think that I have been in your cockpit, but I've never been inside.
Oh.
Welcome to Sailboat
Really?
Cribs.
What's up, y'all? Y'all in my house. Y'all out.
Oh, yeah, 3 steps down.
Oh, yeah.
About technically 4, I guess.
So this is your life raft?
This is our life raft. You know, it's really good to have inside of your boat. You know, no problem. Doesn't everybody keep theirs inside their boat?
Yeah.
We bought Saoirse in 2016. We knew nothing about sailing. We spent 2.5 years in the yard doing fiberglass work and fixing her up. Just enough bare bones to get out to the Bahamas and just get going. And learned what we wanted more of. And now we've kind of gotten a little bit more like comfort things. Water maker, a comfy bed, a shower. We just redid our head.
Ooh. Oh, wow.
This is now a wet head.
Ooh, and this is very fancy.
And then we have a pot fill for our shower head. which we do have hot water and cold water now.
That's gonna be life changing.
It is totally life changing.
So when you
100%.
started, you did not have a shower.
We did not have a shower. We've been showering outside in the cockpit since the moment we got the boat.
So this is a bedroom.
Bedroom. V-berth, very small, but works.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that bed is actually bigger than the one we have in our bed.
This is a 8-foot-inch cushion on top.
Nice.
And then we have storage under our bed, which used to be a water tank, but we turned it to storage, and now we have water tank over where the black tank used to be. Since we have
Barnacle. Are you making yourself comfortable? You sneaky dog. And so on the other side, we have the galley.
Yes. Which is our next big project. We want to redo all the countertops.
Yeah.
We only have the Dometic cooler right now, which is a freezer, but we have a traditional over here.
And this is your radar.
So we've got 9-foot beam. This turns into the, we call it the snuggle pit. This goes down. We can put this here. We have a thing there. This pulls out, so this whole entire area turns
Becomes
into
a bed.
Yep.
Yay.
All this is storage. This used to be a pilot berth, but we just put storage. We want to build a cabinetry here.
And this is your portable washing machine. I've seen them on Amazon.
And I say it's worth every inch it takes up.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
So is it the same boat as Uma? Because like I recognize a lot of the layout.
Yeah. Uma is 36 and she's a year younger. Theirs is different because our cockpit has 9 feet. They have a smaller cockpit, so they have just that one more foot, but they have a bigger space, especially in the galley, because they have a pilot or they have like a half settee that they've turned and done crazy things to. But she's wider as well.
So how much battery bank do you have, and how much tankage do you have on board?
Tankage for water is 40 gallons. We don't carry any diesel because we're all electric. And our batteries are 384 amps at 48 volts.
And it's all lithium batteries.
All lithium from Dakota.
Wow.
They're great.
We won't mention it. How many watts of solar panels do you have?
700.
700.
Whoa, really?
So it's gonna be super quiet when you guys motor.
It's pretty decently quiet. There's a couple motor mounts that we can add to it to make it a little bit better.
Okay.
Which both should be in the process of doing eventually. So there she is. We should call her Electra. She's a Mont Energy.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
this is like
our motor.
this
I
is
can
the
pick it
engine?
up. Yes, I can pick it up and take it out.
this is insane.
Yeah. But yeah, it's super lightweight. We've had it the entire time. We actually just recently took out the transmission, so we no longer have a transmission. So it's direct now.
So is the engine something that you've retrofitted?
Yeah, so when we got the boat, it was a seized engine, so we knew we wanted electric.
Okay.
So we ripped out the diesel motor, put this in. We couldn't even refurb the motor, so we put this in, and it's been amazing.
So how much does an electric motor like this cost?
So the engine was about 10 grand, which is a lot less expensive than getting a brand new or
Actually-
even refurbed. It's super simple. The only thing we've ever had go awry with it is it's water cooled, so the chip gets a little bit of moisture to it.
Yeah.
So we've had a new one sent to us, Bo sealed it up, and we haven't had an issue since. So.
Wow. So right off the bat, your engine was more expensive, like
Than the entire
5
boat.
times the price of the
Yeah.
entire boat.
Yeah.
That's crazy. How much total do you estimate you've put in the boat after you bought her?
Bo says 20,000.
20,000? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times I feel like on YouTube there's this myth that you hear that you can just buy like a really cheap boat and then just go. And I feel like it's doing such a disservice to everyone than to say, yeah, of course, just buy a boat for $1,000 and you're fine. The reality is that it takes a lot of money over a very long period of time to bring your boat to a place where you can cruise it to the destinations that everybody dream of reaching.
I would say that the money that we have put into her, we probably spent maybe 5 to 8 putting in her in the very beginning, and then it's just been over the years building on it. Well, we don't mind the minimalistic part of it,
Yeah.
and we just wanted to get going. What we really was passionate about was the travel part. We just felt like we're just going to sleep in the boat, so let's make that part comfortable. But now that we've been on her for 5 years, have been finding things that this would make it just a little bit better. This would make it a little bit better. Like if we were to install a Dodger, that would make the
Oh my
sailing
god, that would
aspect
change your life.
humongous.
I think
So,
a spray hood. Oh my
yeah.
god. So that gives you an idea of what kind of boat you can buy with less than $10,000, how much you need to put in it after you've bought it, and yeah, how it looks like.
So is it realistic to sail the world on a tight budget in 2024? Yes, absolutely. We know a lot of people who do it, and I still believe that you can sail on absolutely any amount of money. Now, the reason why I think that most of the YouTube videos about how much it costs to sail the world are wrong is that they are, for the most part, outdated. Most people you would follow on YouTube will have had their starts before 2020. Not all of them, but most of them. And they would have bought their boat in the pre-pandemic market. So whatever they bought their boat for isn't a reality anymore. The other day, a couple of friends of ours who we hung out at the Düsseldorf boat show last year called us because they are getting serious about buying the sailboat that will take them on their adventure. And they were potentially interested in an ML from the 80s that was located relatively far away from where they live. Now, these friends are the carbon copy of the 2016 version of Ryan and me. Similar socioeconomic background, similar budget, and similar level of experience with sailing and boat work that we had 8 years ago, i.e. really not much. Now, one of the greatest gifts that we received from our sailing instructor back in the day was that instead of pushing on us what we should do and what boat we should buy, he basically told us what to think about if we were to commission a brand new boat, if we were to buy an older one, or if we were to buy something a lot cheaper and older, but that would need a lot of repairs. Because as we have now learned over the years, those three scenarios come with vastly different considerations. So when friends approach us for advice on boat purchasing, we try to list those considerations rather than pushing one way of doing it. But at one time, I couldn't help but say, you guys, I know that the boat make is a proven one, the size is awesome, but that particular boat looks like a project boat, meaning that you would potentially need to spend a lot of money and a lot of time working on the boat before you can leave the dock with her. So I went where you go when you are looking for boats. And as we were chatting about engine hours, insurance, surveyors, and all that stuff, I asked Yacht World to pull me the list of all the Jeanneaus and Benettos over 38 feet, younger than 2005, for less than $100,000. And I was getting really frustrated with Yacht World, asking myself, when did it start to suck that bad? Until I realized that, there are no Benettos and Jeanneaus younger than 2005 for less than $100,000. It simply does not exist anymore. In 2016, when we bought Polar Seal, there were a lot of 40-foot Benettos and Jeanneaus for sale around Europe. We get to pick based on our criteria. We made offers below asking, and never ever did we buy our boat thinking that her value would appreciate. Today, if you want to buy an Oceanis 40 from 2007, it starts at $130K. Like, what the f***? And this is why those "how much does it cost to sail the world" videos are wrong. Because sadly, in 2024, the threshold to access this lifestyle if you start from scratch is just much higher. And I don't want to discourage anyone by that. I do not believe that sailing the world is unattainable. I still believe that you can sail on absolutely any budget. I just think that if you base your budget estimations on videos from creators that got their starts before 2021, well, things have changed. Now, for the last 3 years, Ryan and I have wondered if around 2024, 2025, all the boats that have been bought during the pandemic would end up back on the market once the world opens again, and maybe they are starting to. I was talking about it to a good friend of ours who is a boat worker, and he told me that one of the reasons why the cheaper production boats are harder to find these days is because a lot of people for whom sailing the world would have felt inaccessible now get into it because YouTube made it a viable option. So on behalf of Ryan and myself, I am sorry if you are currently looking to buy a boat under 100K. I apologize. So where do we go from there, now that boats sell like croissants out of the oven? Well, what I have noticed in the last year is that instead of going directly to a boat broker, sailboat owners start by announcing the sale of their boat on popular sailing groups on Facebook. And there are a lot of them, many more than you think. There's Facebook groups for owners of a particular make, a group for certain sailing regions, or my absolute favorites, Women Who Sail. And if I were to buy a used boat these days, this is probably where I would go dig.
Hey, Sophie from the future here. I had recorded this video back in January, and because it is now the end of March, I thought that I would fact check myself before hitting publish and look at Yacht World again. And look what I found! Prices for Benettos are dropping under 100K again. So yeah, maybe 2024 is the year that we are moving towards a more normal boat market, and I'm actually really excited about it. Especially if you're watching this video because you're looking at buying a boat in the near future. That is super exciting, and I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section.
As always, you guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.